Alright, welcome back folks to the next video. We're going to be looking at spotting unconscious moments. Now, I hope you took a lot away from this idea of how do we use our eyes for this certain sense of pressure. And we understand now that if we look at the ABSU formula, we've got attention, bypass, stimulate the unconscious mind, and now we're looking at the unconscious moments part of it. The eyes start doing the A, B, and a little bit of S as well. So we have their attention by staring. The bypass is a little bit of awkwardness that they're going to start to feel, that little bit of an unusual feeling like, why is this person staring at me? But remember, we're staring in a kind, caring way, not a malicious, I want to fight you way, because it's not what we're trying to achieve right then. And the S part, to stimulate an unconscious process, is this idea of curiosity that's going to be created, which is, why is this person staring at me? And what they're going to start to feel is either a sense of relaxation or a sense of something. Good or bad, we can work through it all. So this is what we're going to look at now. What is this S part about? This S part is, what are they going to start to feel? And as a therapist, how do I know what they're feeling? What am I going to start to see through what we call unconscious moments, or automatic movement from the unconscious mind, or hypnotic phenomena? The label's not important. It covers everything, a majority of what we do. So what is an unconscious moment? If you consider most of your body's mechanisms, its movements, and its internal organs are run by your unconscious moment. Have you ever been laying in bed and had a leg twitch? Or have you ever noticed that a part of you feels a little bit warmer than another part starts to feel tingly for some unknown reason, or you might get a little twitch in your eye, or something happens that's outside of your control? This is what is an unconscious moment. Now what this is your unconscious mind is taking control of that part of you, or a control of that portion of you, and doing something with it, whether it's in a twitch, it's in a movement, it's in a sensation, a memory, doesn't matter what it is. So what we want to start to use, we've done this idea of the eyes, we're staring at our clients. What types of things do you think we're going to see that lets us know that our eyes, our hypnotic stare, is creating the effect we want? Now, why would we want this effect in the first place? Well, believe it or not, by actually staring at somebody, we're creating a non-verbal trance. How is this possible? Because we normally use language to actually put someone into trance. But think about it like this. Are we not achieving the same thing? Let's say we use a bit of language and they think to themselves, well, that's a bit of a peculiar thing to say, or that language pattern, I'm a little bit confused, normal confusion induction, or it's a nice way to put things. I have never thought about my problem like that before. So what we can do with language, we can get somebody's problem, present it back to them, encapsulated with some nice fancy language and all that sort of good stuff. We're going to get into that today. But the eyes, don't the eyes do the same thing? If we're staring at somebody, where is their mind right now? Their mind's not on the session itself. It's on this, why is this person staring at me? It's not on their problem anymore. It's, why do I feel this weird sensation inside of me while this person's staring at me? And we get enough of those, we create trance. So what are those? Those are unconscious moments. So let's look at what we'd start to see as a therapist. So just as I brought to your attention before, little twitches. And the most common thing you'll start to see is the eyes. You're staring at them and you're actually going to see this. You're going to see a rapid blink reflex, or you're going to start to see the blink reflex either increase or decrease. Now, it doesn't matter which one. Not at all. We just want to see an unusual process starting to take place, or an unusual movement that wouldn't normally happen, that our clients have no control over. Now, when you're talking to somebody, do you sit and do this? No, of course not, because they're going to think you're strange and probably walk away. So if you start to see this, we can put this down and categorize it as an unconscious moment. So there's one. Eyes. What if we see them get a little bit of laughter coming out of nowhere? We might not have even said anything funny, but they'll just have a sense of relief and a little bit of laughter will come out. That's an unconscious moment. What if we see twitches? Now, you'll usually start to see either hands twitch, or they'll get a little body jolt, or maybe the legs will start to twitch, or something like that. But there's another one as well. This one is a very common one. Probably twitches would be up there with the most common. Then usually the eyes and twitches usually the same, but this is a usual unconscious moment that I see. It's a sense of release. And you could ask your client, what was that about? What just happened then? And they'll probably have no idea. And this is what we're looking for, is if they have no idea why they did it, or what just occurred, or they're thinking, I don't know, it just came out. It's like a big deep breath come out. This is an unconscious moment. This is your unconscious mind starting to shift from normal consciousness into a trance or a hypnotic trance or formal trance itself. So what is this about? What are we looking for? We're looking for eyes. We're looking for twitches. We're looking for a sense of release. You can almost make a list of a couple of things. So what I want you to do is just recall times or think of what types of things do you think you'd see. Usually a little bit of confusion is, you know, you might have do this eye thing for long enough, and we're looking at unconscious mind in a little more detail as we go through right now, and you might ask your client about their problem. They go, oh, I feel a little bit confused about it. It means because a certain sense of unconsciousness or unconscious moment is taking over. And what we want to do with these unconscious moments is stack them one on top of each other. We want to build them up over and over and over. Why? Because they'll probably start off small. And then if we start to build them, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And what would normally be, let's say, a little hand twitch like this turns into a normal twitch or a big twitch, or the whole body takes over, or that comes out with a lot more energy. Maybe the eyes blink so much that at one point they blink and they don't open up again, which means trance is taking over. What we're doing is we're calling this ratifying or increasing, exacerbating these unconscious moments. Now, this is important. So what are we doing right now? We've got the eyes, which is the A, B, and a little bit of S. But what we're doing is once we see an unconscious moment, what do we do with it? What are we going to do with this unconscious moment to help not only stack on top of each other, but help increase it? So if you consider what we've done right now, if you've used language before to create a formal trance, we usually use language to create an unconscious moment. Correct? But what we've done right now is we've basically said nothing and we got the same result. How is this possible? It's because we're still following the main tool, the main ABS formula. We're just doing it in an indirect way without language. We can get to the same place without language by using our eyes, building up the pressure. Hypnotic language does that too. Bypassing the critical mind. That's all hypnotic language is. It just bypasses normal thinking. And then the S comes out, and usually clients will do a little smile, or they'll breathe out, they'll get a little twitch. And this is something we see when we use, and we're very good at using hypnotic language. If you go to our other videos, you'll learn how to do that in a lot more detail. But right now, we're in the exact same place as if we were using language, but we're not using it at all. So what are we going to do with this? How do we stack these unconscious moments on top of each other and create this trance right now? Right now, you'll see the trance starting to take effect. How do you know? Because these unconscious moments will continue to increase. And right now, if I'm sitting there staring at my client, all I'm doing right now is waiting for an unconscious moment. I'm not really saying anything. And yes, it can be a little bit awkward for you as a therapist, so that's something you will get used to. But what if you just use this sense of hypnotic gaze and this pressure inside of a normal conversation? You might be asking your client, what's the problem? What do you want to work through? Yada, yada, yada. Whatever you have is your formal induction. Or you might be using some fancy hypnotic language. And by using the eyes as well, you're going to double its increase. You're going to increase it to the point where trance takes over quicker. Sometimes the language can take so long to build up on top of each other. Sometimes it's very quick and people respond to it. But we're stacking the deck in our favor. Let's use the eyes with the language or without it. So the next video we're going to look at is how do we use this idea of utilization. Now, what is utilization? We've actually just started to unpack it just then, but I'm going to wait to the next video, get into a lot more detail. So let's move on to the next video of this utilization principle. That was the key and cornerstone for the master himself, Milton Erickson. I'm going to give you some in-depth secrets that I use myself. It'll work extremely well, that if you've seen any of his work or you've seen the masters of therapy actually do this, you know exactly how to do it yourself, and it's very simple. So I'm going to reveal some very cool stuff for you. Let's move on to the next video and get started.